Direct from the Broski Nation headquarters in Los Angeles, California, this is the Broski Report with your host, Brittany Broski.
Damn, I'm on my lightning shit. Pave the road. Damn, I'm on my tow mater. Getting towed. Damn, I'm on my Doc Hudson. Piston cup. Guys, welcome back to You guys wouldn't understand. You guys would understand that I just did a sort of Ian freestyle about the movie Cars. Ultimately, that's for kind of the 1% of Broski Nation. And by 1%, I mean Mensa. I don't mean some, socioeconomic status or pyramid, rather. I mean the 1%, the Mensa population of Broski Nation, of which I don't believe there are any. Guys, we prove over and over again that we're not even touching Mensa. We're not coming close to Mensa. All right? And let's Google, what the fuck do you have to do to be in Mensa? Mensa International. The largest and oldest high IQ society in the world. It is a non-profit organization open to people who score at the 98th percentile or higher on a standardized, supervised IQ or other approved intelligence test. Now that's funny because so many bitches online are like, I took an IQ test, I'm a genius. Okay, Google literally told me I'm a genius. So can I come to the meeting, yes or no? And they're like, no! Because you took a BuzzFeed IQ test doesn't mean you can come to the meeting! Okay, Google's talking to me. Damn, my mama Google shit. Listen in. Damn, my mama Alexa shit. Shut up. Damn, my mama AI shit. Please stop. Damn, I'm on my chat GPT. Kill the world. Okay, guys, Mensa International. If anyone in Broski Nation is Mensa, and I highly doubt it, please, guys, let me know, because I've got some questions. I'd like you to call in. I'd like you to call in, and I'd like to ask you some shit. Damn, I'm on my Mensa shit. 1%. Sorry, 2%. 98th percentile. I scored in the 98th percentile. I've got rose calling a young phone. That's Hugh Jackman singing Obama. Where's Ali with the Obama? Okay, moving right along. Next on the docket is, it's August, guys. I am doing my yearly rewatch of The Corpse Bride. One of my favorite movies ever made. Add it to the yearly rotation. I usually do. And guess what I rewatched recently? Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. Yeah, I rewatched it. Because guess what? I'm teaching myself chess. How is that going? Bad. How is that going? I don't know how to play chess. And I'm not really in the mindset to watch The Queen's Gambit, because that would mean I have to absorb new information. Why would I do that when I can just rewatch something I've already seen? You get me? The thing about Game of Shadows is there's this one scene at the very end of the movie where Robert Downey Jr. is talking to Professor James Moriarty, who I forget the actor's name, but he's great. And he was in that other movie. You know the one. At the end, there's a scene where they're sitting at a chess table and they're going over, that scene at the end of every fucking thriller action movie where they're revealing the big plot, or they're revealing the plan, or kind of how they pulled a fast one on each other. And in doing that, part of the dialogue that the writer wrote in is they're playing, as they're revealing each step, they're also playing chess on the board. Okay? As that happens, someone gets up, and then they start mentally playing chess. So he'll be like, so-and-so, I tried to kill the doctor's wife. Rook to G4, or whatever the fuck the table is. And it's like, fuck, it's genius. That sort of, I love shit like, it's nerd shit. It's nerd shit, where they're playing a game both of life and then an actual game of chess, and both are reflecting each other. And it's to the point, Mensa, where they are mentally sparring with each other, where they're verbally saying the chess move. Guys, shit like that impresses me. I'm sorry. I know it's so Hollywood. It's such a movie. That's why we come to the theater. We go to these streaming platforms for magic. Me laid up in bed with a pinstripe suit watching Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows that came out in 2011. Yeah, that's actually called cinema. It's called The Art of Appreciating Cinema. You want to know cinema that I recently appreciated for the first time? You guys are going to yell at what I'm about to say. So just know that I'm bracing for impact and I'm also apologizing up front, okay? I had never seen Coraline. I watched Coraline for the first time. Bitch! That movie is scary as fuck! That movie is scary! Why does she turn into a big, scary, spindly spider monster? Ew, and the little metal hand. I did like the intro scene. The opening scene is the other mother, or whatever her name is, Beldam, which I'm wondering, is that what is the word? Enneagram? Not Enneagram. Anagram. Is that anagram where you mix the letters up in a word? If I get this right, you know I'm Mensa. Anagram. A word, phrase, or name formed by rearranging the letters of another, such as cinema formed from Iceman. I'm a genius. Is Beldam as a character supposed to be Bedlam? Because Bedlam means like chaos. Come on, guys. And I know that from Pierce Brown. Because that motherfucker loves the word Bedlam. Bedlam. Definition: a scene of uproar and confusion. Yes, dude. Beldam character Coraline. God, that's scary as fuck! Look at her! Them. Look at her! I cannot believe. She is a malevolent, interspatial, shape-shifting witch/fae entity who lures children into another dimension with the goal of consuming their flesh. Sure, let's make that a children's movie, and I'll greenlight it. Oh, but that first scene where she crawls into the little hole. She goes down the hole and she finds her other mother and her other father. And it's just like, it actually made me emotional because I'm like, this is such a universal sentiment that I feel probably all kids have experienced, right? And that's part of, I guess, just growing up. Maybe it's an American thing where your parents are so consumed with work that you kind of are like, yeah, I want to play. Like that sort of thing is such a, I was back in like my 9-year-old body, like, yeah. And I was like, wow, it made me emotional because to go into this other world, me explaining the plot, essentially, going into this other world where everything is taken care of. Dinner is exactly what you want. Your room is perfect. You know, this, that. It's just an idealistic world. But obviously the point of Coraline is that she goes back to her real family because nothing is ever as good as it's promised. And everything comes with strings, right? Like, I don't know, losing your flesh to an interspatial fae monster. So you always run that risk, you know, when you run away from home, is being eaten by an interspatial fae monster. The Beldam, also known as the other mother, in reference to her motherly disguise, is the main antagonist in the 2002 book Coraline, as well as the 2009 movie of the same name. Crazy. The animation is so good. And you know, I had kind of like a Mandela effect shit. I thought Coraline was a Tim Burton film. It's not. It's simply not. Coraline's animation style is primarily defined by its stop motion technique. Yeah. It blends handcrafted detail with digital enhancements. The film stop motion was revolutionary for its time, particularly in its use of 3D and the level of detail. Yes! The work of Japanese illustrator Tadahiro Usugi, and invited him to become the concept artist. Usugi's biggest influences were on the color palette, which was muted in the real world. Do you hear like the spaceship passing overhead over my house right now? Some days I think if I looked up in the sky and saw one of the big fucking monster spaceships from Avengers, I'd be like, sure. I'd be like, oh, it's a routine checkover. Routine passover. Because like, what is supposed to shock me anymore? If I went out to go take my trash out or check my mail and I looked up in the sky and there was a huge star destroyer in the sky, I'd be like, it's probably a drone. You know what I like, another fucking weather balloon. I don't give a shit. I gotta go film the podcast. Like, I just am so, okay, sure. I went on I wouldn't even call it a date recently. And the guy was so fucking nonchalant. I was like, sure. He goes, we should definitely hang out again. Sure. You make the plan then. Oh, you're not going to? Yeah. Go figure.
Okay, anyway.
Coraline gagged me, girl. Because, yeah, this idea of being a child, not having your needs met, and thinking, surely it's better somewhere else. Or like the world that I'm dreaming up in my head, that'll fix everything. Also hilarious, in her alternate world, YB, her friend, her neighborhood friend, she has him nonverbal. Love that. She said, you can be my friend even though you're a boy, but you can't talk, sadly. So, and it was fine. They communicated exactly how they needed to without him being able to speak. Really beautiful in my eyes. So I really enjoyed Coraline. I'm on my gothic horror fantasy shit, y'all. I really am down this rabbit hole right now, and I'm leaning in early. Cause I already went to Bath & Body Works. I got me some fall candles. I'm already switching I'm doing Halloween ambience on the TV. I'm about to get out my pumpkin decorations. I got me a little Peanuts what's that called? Doormat. It's Snoopy and Charlie Brown. Charles Brown. Chucky Brown. I love this shit. I love this shit. I have to decorate the set. I'm going to clear all this shit away and it's going to be boys are everywhere without a good scare.
And we will see in the town of Halloween.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Except Hugh Jackman. Halloween, 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 Halloween. La, 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 la. Who is the guy that does that on TikTok? It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. He did American Requiem by Beyonce. I laughed so hard I cried. Requiem! The big ideas! He's so funny. There is such untapped talent on TikTok. And don't even get me started on how predatory a lot of these Hollywood industries are, because they see it and they snatch you up and then they shelve you, girl. Evil incarnate. Let's go back. Ew, dude. The Beldam. I need to know the origin of this name. She is described as a skeleton / arachnid creature. Her age is upwards of 150 years old. A simple deduction. Why is other mother called Beldam? Oh, T. Okay, this is from AI Overview. In the story Coraline, the other mother is also known as the Beldam. This name is derived from the Old English word beldam, which can mean an old woman, a hag, or even a witch. Trust. Look, bring back hag. Oh, we need to start calling people hags. An old woman, a hag, or even a witch. The name is significant because it foreshadows the other mother's true nature, revealing her as a malevolent, ancient being rather than a caring parental figure. So true. Okay, I need to... Oh, this is what I was going to say. I've really been on my gothic horror fantasy shit, okay? I am very much, again, okay, it's important to me to keep talking about this because part of my mental process is coming on this podcast. And if I say things to Broski Nation, I think inherently they will become true because that's how manifestation works, number one. Number two, speak the world that you want into existence. And three, it's almost like if I say it, that makes it real. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going through a shift right now, beauty-wise, self-acceptance-wise, all these things, right? Like you can present as the most confident, self-loving, healed person alive, but at the end of the day, are you? And the reality of that situation is it's an ongoing, evergreen process. You are always reinventing yourself and discovering untapped wells within you that only you can unlock. Maybe someone else can, open a peephole, but you have to unlock it. So something for me right now, I just did a carpet for, I was invited to a variety event, Variety Power of Young Hollywood. Slay. Me and Finn Wolfhard, my little brother, we went to this, and I worked with my stylist, Kat, and we were trying to pull a look together. And I was like, I'm really into this gothic, like kind of Renaissance. It kind of fits in with the music a little bit, but kind of like, this is just my style. And we pulled together this gorgeous look. And for glam, we were discussing, and I was like, I want to do something that's so not like every carpet. And I think this is just in general too. It's not just Hollywood. Going to an event, going on a date, going out to the club, going out to lunch with your friends, whatever. There is this inherent under the skin desire to be viewed, obviously male gaze in mind, as desirable or as sexy. And we do certain things to achieve that. Whether it's a snatched waist, whether it's, doing your makeup a certain way, whether it's picking a fragrance that, all of these things, right? The patriarchy just permeates every decision that a woman or femme-presenting person has to consider. And I am attempting, and I would say I've been successful, absolutely in the majority, of letting go of that shit. Dressing for what I think is cool, what I really like, what I think is high fashion, what I think is deeply artful. And all of these things kind of come to a head when it comes to an event like, this variety event where we pulled this look together, and bitch, I felt stunning. And we did a makeup look that was strange. I came in with the reference of like 1930s. That's kind of my go-to because I have that eye shape. And I'm tired of trying to snatch my, all these things like thick brow with the overdrawn lips and the snatched eyeliner and just black everywhere. It's like, you don't need to do all that. You're hiding behind that. And what I am endeavoring to do is enhance how already bold my features are. There's a power in that. I want to look like a cartoon. Like, I really do. I think that there's something really interesting and unique about that. And especially oh my God, I love Mina Lee on YouTube. I'm just talking shit now. I love Mina Lee on YouTube. She really, I would say she influences me. She influences my way of thinking. I think she is so deeply intelligent. She has such great takes on things. And I watched this video recently that really makes you think, man, about the death of personal style and how, obviously I'm not going to try to repeat what she said, but there are so many factors that go into who we are as people and how we choose to express ourselves through dress and through makeup and through presentation. And of course, the big albatross around the neck there is both capitalism, consumerism, and the patriarchy. All three of those things influence everything. You think you're making a decision for yourself, you're not. That decision has been made for you by, 40 marketing executives in a room, where it's like, even these things that make me feel like an individual or like I am connecting to a part of myself through buying this thing, that is an empty endeavor. And we're all guilty of it. I shop, I love to shop, but that doesn't equate to really being in touch with and knowing who you are and what you like and what's the most authentic for you. If all you're doing is chasing trends. Even on Pinterest, I love Pinterest. That shit is so overrun with ads that by the time I find something I like when I'm trying to put it on a board, it's an ad. And I'm like, I think Mina really puts an emphasis, or at least she used to. I know her style's kind of changed. She puts an emphasis on obviously thrifting and buying vintage and secondhand. And for a second, that was really her thing. And she loves the 30s kind of the way that I do, like very vintage inspired dress. And, it gets to a level with that too, where it starts to become kind of costumey. And I went through that in the pandemic. I dressed like I was from the 60s. And I had this favorite brand called, I used to do pinup girl vintage or pinup girl clothing, I think is what it was called. And then unique vintage. and then Laura Burns. Those were all 3 different like designers and stores that I used to love because they made vintage style clothes for plus size bodies, period. And they were well made. It wasn't this cider Shein Temu shit. Well made, long pants that were lined. And it wasn't that, you know, thin, cheap linen. It was like very well made. This was also when Fine Line had just come out. So Harry was dressing like a grandpa and I was dressing like a grandpa. I would draw on the Twiggy lashes. I would do the big, you know, bell sleeve tops. I honestly look back and I'm like, I see the vision. Maybe the execution wasn't great, but I was so inspired by the 60s and 60s fashion. And like, I was on Pinterest, putting in hours on Pinterest every day, trying to curate a look. And I would go thrifting and I would look for that shit that was just grandma clothes. And I would wear it because I saw the beauty in it. Then, you know, it ebbs and flows. You go back to kind of dressing for the male gaze and then you tap in it. Yeah, what the fuck am I doing? This shit's ugly. And then I go back to like what's actually really cool. And it's cool over the years because I was 22, 23 around that time. Now I just turned 28. Damn. And it's cool to now have settled on something of like, I know what I appreciate from that era. And there are certain things from that era that would complement my features or, you know, my body type or whatever. But now it's like, I found something better. And that's so exciting. And I'm the 30s, not so much the dress, but the approach to glam, which is almost this tragic, cartoonish, womanly beauty that is just so soft but dramatic. It's very dramatic. The downturned eyes, the like, you know, wanting shape of the eyebrows. Everything was really thin. The lips were dramatized but not overdrawn. It was just stunned. So for this carpet, that's what we decided to do. And I came in with the reference of like, I want to do a 30s beat, like really dramatic downturned eyes, shadow, really thin brows, and then the blush to connect to the eye look. And my makeup artist, Tammy, is so fucking period. Tammy El Somebody, yes. She beat me. She beat me. She beats me on set, not clickbait. She beat that shit down. I felt so cool. I was also off the edible at that event, so my eyes are kind of glazed over in the photos. In the Gettys, not much I can do about it. I was floating somewhere over there. All right. They were like, Brittany. I'm somewhere over there, man. I'm talking to Drew way down the carpet right now, but you're taking my photo right now. I just love shit like that. Something interesting that is of note, I guess, is that I'm able to recognize there is, like I'm saying, this artful quality to pulling references from vintage things. Those things are not the BBL baddie that is on Instagram. And there's something off the beaten path and a bit, maybe it can be considered unattractive about it. And I'm to a point in my life where I can genuinely say that doesn't bother me. In fact, I encourage it. We spend our whole lives wondering, am I attractive? Do I look attractive? Is what I'm doing attractive? Is everything? Life is so much bigger and wider than seeking validation for an external thing that quite honestly is out of your control. You can try to control it, but that'll only get you so far before you start endangering your life. You know, y'all know how I feel about getting work done and whatever, and to each their own. But I think no one is more unique looking and beautiful than you as you are and the features you were born with. And accentuate that. I want to see more drama on these carpets. I'm tired of seeing a bodycon dress with a mink lash and a slick back bun. I don't want to see it. I'm bored. Everyone's boring. Give me a perspective. Give me something artful, bitch. And let me, while I'm on this topic, started Project Runway. Oh, we're so back. This episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. Why is it that when we need a new doctor, our first instinct is to post in the group chat, anyone know a good PCP or OBGYN? I'm definitely guilty of doing it, but I always end up finding out that the rec is not in my network or the office is too far from home. Enter ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, and are a good fit for any medical need you may have. Also, with hundreds of verified patient reviews, you can find the type of care and support you're looking for, from good bedside manner to fast wait times to doctors with the best listening skills. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments sometimes. I used ZocDoc, as we all know, to find my dermatologist, and I'm one moly and rash-prone woman. It's been so worth it to stay on top of my skin issues. I'm so glad I found him. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/broski to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/broski. ZocDoc.com/broski. This episode is sponsored by Hungry Root. Hungry Root takes the stress out of mealtime by filling your cart with personalized picks and planning your week of meals, getting smarter with every order. With over 15,000 recipes to choose from each week, many ready in just 15 minutes or less, and a wide grocery selection, including smoothies, sweets, kids' snacks, salad kits, ready-to-eat meals, and supplements, it's easy to find options that fit your whole family's taste and nutrition goals. Hungry Root helps you eat well and reach your diet or health goals, whether you're gluten-free, dairy-free, high-protein, focused on gut health, anything else. Just take a quick quiz, and their smart cart technology recommends groceries, recipes, and supplements tailored to your tastes and needs. As y'all know, I'm personally dairy-free and low-fat because I'm missing an organ, my gallbladder. So mama has to be careful with what she eats. They've also learned my tastes because I'm a savory girl. I love salt. So Hungry Root is fantastic for me, and I'm just feeding one. So they help me reduce food waste, they help me avoid impulse grocery buys, and ordering last-minute restaurant takeout. Their best price program ensures you get great value on over 100 popular products. And with my offer, you'll get a free item like a premium protein, veggie, or sweet treat in every box for life. Hungry Root holds all its food to high standards, screening out over 200 additives, including high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, and preservatives. They only source high-quality meat and seafood with no hormones or antibiotics, offer organic produce and non-GMO options, and carry trusted, healthy brands like Oatly, Vital Farms, Ithaca Hummus, Harmless Harvest, and many more. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/broski and use code BROSKI. That's hungryroot.com/broski, code BROSKI, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/broski, code BROSKI. A joy of my life I never thought I would get to have 5-6 years ago when I was normal, but I was working a normal job, is working with a stylist. You always hear, oh, my stylist this, my stylist that, when celebrities talk about that shit. Dude, my stylist, Kat Tipaldos, she is a living, breathing genius. The collaborative spirit that we both have when we get in a room together, she compliments me and I compliment her, and we get to this place that the look is always cool, it's fun, maybe it takes a risk, but inherently across the board, it's always me and it's always cohesive with, if I'm doing a look for the variety event, it's gonna be, there's a through line through all the carpets that I've done, through maybe the music, how we dressed for the music, with the drapery and with the color palettes. Everything is so intentional, and I love that about the process and about it. Every detail matters, down to, if you're doing tiny little diamond stud earrings, that's intentional because it's part of the look. And it's because we're muting that because something else is bigger and that deserves more attention. But like everything, she'll even be like, you're getting your toes done, right? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You don't want my yellow-brown toenails out on the carpet? Bitch, fuck you! This is how I'm built. That shit like that, it's so important. Every single detail of a look. So in that vein, I kind of have my experience, also just my love for drag. Like, I've been watching Drag Race since I was 14, where it's like, I watch the judges' critiques. I used to love Project Runway growing up. I wasn't really an America's Next Top Model girl because I always thought Tyra Banks was kind of mean and crazy, but it's one of these things where you have to respect it. It's how the industry is. This is how modeling is. You need to get used to it if you want to be a model. And it's like, oh,
You want to be on top? Maybe I don't want to be on top.
Maybe I want to be treated like a human with a human body. But Project Runway to me was always, me and my mom loved Project Runway because wow. And to listen to the judges' critiques and also to go back on some of the older seasons and watch and think, oh, how times change. And I do believe there is an evergreen taste level to the Project Runway judges, obviously, like Nina Garcia, Tim Gunn, Heidi Klum. And who was on it for the longest time? Was it Michael Kors or Calvin Klein? It's like, of course, these people know what they're talking about. And part of fashion is being transient and being able to change with the times. And fashion is always seeking something new and interesting and revolutionary, and how many different ways, infinite possibilities of creating a silhouette and an interesting combination of textures and fabrics and materials and true creativity, which is why I love the Drag Race design challenges. Like true creativity, you are given 48 hours to use these unconventional, non-conventional materials to construct something that could go down a runway. And quite honestly, is better than some of the shit that goes down the runway during Fashion Week. So, wow. I've always had such a deep respect for the drag community and the inherent groundbreaking creativity that comes from an environment and a show like that. Project Runway is just a different side of the same coin to me of these are for real the best of the best. And of course, you have to have a certain mindset to want to go on a show like Project Runway. I'm not saying Project Runway is the best of the best of young designers, not even young, just designers in the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the level of artistry that you see on Project Runway sometimes just gags. And it's even more fun when it doesn't, because you get to be a fashion critic. I feel like Andre Leon Talley. I do. And I have so much to say. I binged there's only 3 episodes up right now. I think another one comes out this week. My love, Miss Utica Queen is on this season. Half the reason I started watching from Drag Race. And he is so just like, the attention to detail and the polish is amazing. And he's thinking about it, obviously, from already having been in a competition that is so high stakes and is so... honestly, like team-oriented Drag Race can be because you have to work in teams. It's kind of a similar structure, but some of the looks that I've seen so far on this season, I'm like, some of them are ready to walk down the runway. Just truly stunning, unbelievable. I loved Jesus did a look for the athleisure episode. It was stunning. All the judges were like, and as it came down the runway, I was like, oh, love. And then all the judges loved it. That's always a fun thing when you're like, I like that one. And then the judges are like, this was the best one. I'm like, yes. But sometimes I like stuff that the judges rip apart. And I'm like, you know what? To each their own. If it's interesting, and I do think flattering is a part of this conversation, but sometimes an art piece of a garment isn't always flattering, but here's what I love, okay? La Roche, a god to me. La Roche is a god to me. If you don't know, La Roche is Zendaya's stylist. He's an image architect. He created that term. Just like truly one of the most, the word that comes to mind is anointed. Just anointed in his purpose of fashion and art. And living, breathing art, because that's what fashion is. Fashion is fun, it's experimental, it is political, it's boundary pushing, all these things. Like La Roche understands that and communicates that, and his critiques come from that place. And there's this episode, season 21, episode 3, that's what I just watched last night. The challenge was, y'all are going to be given ugly, boring material, and it is your job as 2 separate teams to come up with a cohesive line made of this boring material that is wearable. And the winner, it was going to have their look worn by Sofia Vergara. Well, one of the materials is this, like, as they describe it, boring gray wool. And then the other team gets denim. And so the denim team is freaking out, like, yes, because denim is, it's classic. So many things can be done with denim. Wool is a bit more, bitch, they pulled it off so well that all the garments were so beautifully constructed. They killed it. I mean, with wool, a lot of them were kind of a business silhouette. And the denim team lost. It was all over the fucking place. And La Roche is sitting there, and he's just observing, and everyone's talking, and it gets to him. It's time for his critiques. And he goes, I didn't come on this show to look at a bunch of ugly fucking clothes. I didn't. I'm sorry. This shit is ugly. And I go, oh my God. He's a god to me. To have that level of candid. He goes, you don't get a participation medal for coming on this show. It has to be good. That's what this show is about. There's a winner. And I'm like, wow. Because that's how you get better. You know what I mean? Every opportunity where I have truly failed at something and decided to attempt it again or do it better, it's been for the betterment of myself as a person. And that is true for every person. If you fail at something, odds are the next time you try again, it's going to be better. Just objectively, it's going to be better because you know what you did wrong. That, for me, learning in school was one of the kind of pillars of my curiosity for learning and for life is if I got a bad grade on a test, I'm studying the ones I got wrong until they're burned into my brain because I can't believe I got that wrong. There's definitely a bit of ego to it as well, of like being a gifted and talented student and how that kind of rots your brain. But that shit, like when I would get something wrong on a test, I would only study those. And then you get better and you learn. And now forever, you know that shit. So with La Roche judging and offering critiques, I think his advice is the most, listen to him, girl. Because, love Nina Garcia and love Heidi, and they definitely are fashion experts, but there's something about La Roche, I think I'd freak the fuck out if I ever met La Roche. Like, I just think he's a genius. So yeah, but Project Runway, wow. Some of the looks, Utica did a look for the first episode where it was based on Disney princesses and Disney villains. Hey, I'm locked the fuck in. I'm paying attention. Disney princesses was one team, flop. The second team was villains. They nailed it. They killed it, knocked it out of the park. Utica did a look that was this gorgeous dress, or maybe it was like a jumpsuit. It was a top and a bottom with this cool plunging V, but it was two plunging Vs. And on top, it was a cape, but the cape connected at the head, bitch. It connected at the head. And as she walked down the runway, the movement in the fabric and the way it caught the wind was so stunning. It took my breath away. I have to wear that. Wow, I need to wear that. Maybe I need to teach myself how to sew. I was gagged. I put it on my story. It was so good. I'm just like that shit where if I'm watching something and it moves me, that's like, oh my God. Really stunned. I also watched this YouTube video recently on the Mason Margiela, Pat McGrath runway show from 2024, where they were kind of exploring the inspirations for it and how they achieved that glass skin, porcelain doll skin that Pat McGrath did. It's going to be studied. That's fashion history. Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones, she's a very tall woman, very beautiful, and very fashion conscientious of fashion. She walked in it, and it was stunning because I'm finally, obviously I don't know where we are as a whole, but seeing these trends in the high fashion spaces where they're starting to incorporate more like a variety of bodies and a variety of beauty. And that to me is going to sell the clothes way more than a skinny, tall, white body ever could. And it's like, wow, I want to see this art on a canvas that can properly showcase it, and no hate to the skinny girls, no hate. But wow, to see, especially like a Margiela Jean Galliano piece on a body that doesn't look like a mannequin is just amazing. And it really brings it to life in a way that is so deeply respectable. And so I watched this whole video on that of the inspirations and the experiments that they did with the makeup. And it's just, what a fun, for people that say like fashion isn't important or it's a waste of time, you would never understand. You would never understand. Fashion is part of the human experience. We define generations and time periods. The clothing is just as important as the politics of the time, of the art and culture of the time. All of it's intertwined. How we express ourselves through dress. And that's reflective of what's allowed at the time, what's encouraged. It reflects how the people feel about themselves. When you go back to like 1700s, you know, Napoleon or all these monarchs or aristocrats, all these aristocrats of the time, men used to wear high heels and wigs because it made them feel a certain way, right? There's a power that comes with walking in a heel or placing something on your head to signify you are important or you have the right to take up space here. All these things, like fashion tells human history. It's a part of art history and it's a part of human history. So all these things combined, it seems silly when you take it out of context and think, you know, how does a fashion house have so much sway? Or why do people give a shit so much? Why is the Met Gala as important as it is? All these things, it's like, you'd never understand. You'd never get it. And I'm not going to be the one to explain it to you. And it also has to come from a deep-rooted place of curiosity and interest in fashion and all the nuances of fashion, what works best for you, what might be topically trendy doesn't necessarily mean that that is the right decision for you. Also, we live in an age now, again, please go watch Mina Lee's videos on fashion because she gags me. She can articulate this better than I ever could. COVID changed everything in terms of 24-hour trends, like these micro trends, where by the time your Shein order comes in of your cardigan with bows on it, we've already moved on to something else. So might as well just drop that off at Goodwill. These Goodwills overrun with Fashion Nova and Shein. It's just like, come on, guys. It's really upsetting because well-made garments, I mean, they're still being made. There are young designers everywhere. People just can't afford it. They cannot afford well-made, ethical, sustainably sourced clothing. And it's pitiful, to be honest. And it really is detrimental for the environment. It's just, you know how I feel about it. Okay. Mina makes these great video essays on, she did her most recent one that I watched that I was like, God, she's a genius. She challenged herself. And it was also a kind of commentary on how transient we are as people and how we're always changing. And this was kind of that brought to life of, she used to dress very eccentrically. And there's an identity factor wrapped up in that. You know, who am I? And how do I express that through my dress, how I dress? And she goes on to say, I tried for 2 weeks or maybe 1 week to only wear a black skirt, a black top, a white skirt, a white top. And she was referencing how a school uniform or this concept of a uniform is maybe freeing in a way that dressing for yourself or dressing to impress or dressing for attention is not freeing. You're almost more shackled to that than you are to just be like, here's a uniform. Maybe all you switch up is accessories. But it's fun to pull references from all these different things that I like that honestly are not cohesive. If I'm pulling shit from gothic horror that I like, and also ballet, and also like Sherlock Holmes, and also country because I'm from Texas, and also this, that, the other, so many competing muses, and they don't always fit together, but it's fun to try. And it's fun to, the more you learn, you know, mold that into what is inherently Brittany. Damn, I'm on my Brittany shit. Oops, I shit again. Right? Damn, I'm on my lightning shit. Pave the road. That was and you know, that was off the dome. I freestyled that at the beginning of the episode. I freestyled that because that's how much of a Mensa I am. Mensa core! Damn, I'm on my Britney shit! Oops, I should again! Anyway, I'm doing this thing now where I bought these ugly shoes. I'm gonna pop a picture up here. These shits they came in the mail. I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I can't return them. I got them on sale. They are these slightly heeled pink ballet lace up. Like, just way too ambitious for a shoe. I bought them, of course, because I was looking for a high-heeled ballet flat with ribbons. I wanted it to look like a point shoe that I could wear with everything. Well, girl, my foot's so damn big. I look like Tweety Bird. I'm bald-headed, big blue eyes, and I've got big fucking feet. I look like Tweety, dude. I tried these shoes on. I looked in the mirror. I said, shit. I got mad. I can't return them. And I got two. I got one that's a high-heeled pair with ribbons that lace up your thing. And then I got just normal pink. And it's not the right color pink. It's pissing me off. It's more salmon colored. You're gonna put salmon on a skin tone like mine? I look like I have a disease. I look like SpongeBob when he had the suds. I got these in the mail and I go, ew. I tried them on. I'm gonna make them work. Also, both of them, way too big for my feet. Awesome. Sure, why not? I'm gonna make it work. You can put those little heel things in the back for shoes that are a bit too loose. I did that. They fit okay. And so I have this vision in my head planned of like, I've got this sort of, who's that little French girl? Who's that little French girl? Lily Rose Depp. Who's that little French girl? Madeline. Madeline. Wasn't she like a Coraline adjacent? Madeline French book. Yeah, cartoon. Yes, her! Giving this. A little blouse or dress that's giving that little Peter Pan collar. Maybe long sleeve, very fitted, a white skirt or a black mini skirt, tights, maybe pink tights, like ballet tights, and then these fuck ass shoes. That was what was in my head, and I'm pinning it on Pinterest. I'm doing all this, and I haven't put it on yet because I know it's going to piss me off and it's going to be ugly. I'm going to look like a salmon. I'm going to look like a salmon in French class, and that's going to piss me the fuck off. So I'm doing these. Look, you have to have some flops to have some wins. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask Broski Nation, if I'm on my Edward Gorey shit, if I'm on my like Corpse Bride, Coraline, Frankenweenie, Edward Gorey shit, give me some recommendations in that realm of like fantasy, gothic horror. Doesn't have to be animated, but preferably would be. Let me know, because I know I've got some spooky bitches in the comments. Let me know on that, because on the flip side, I've recently gotten into Hammer horror. Y'all, shit's cooking in my brain, okay? Hammer horror it was a film studio, Hammer Productions, which was a British film studio, started, I believe, in the 20s and 30s. And in the 50s and 60s, they made these really important horror films. And some women became popular or famous from being Hammer horror girls, where it was like recurring women in these roles. It's like Brides of Dracula, something Curse of the Werewolf, Frankenstein. It's like all that in that realm, but it's from the 50s and 60s. So of course the production value is crazy. And it's like these weird prop bats, and you know, it just looks horrible, but there's a campiness to it that I really like. So I watched Brides of Dracula. I was locked the fuck in. That shit was kind of scary. Yeah, so, oh my god, I recently rewatched Nosferatu. You will bounce on it. Damn, I'm on my Brittany shit. Nosferatu. Yeah, rewatch Nosferatu. It holds up. Lily Rose Depp, performance of her life. And Robert Eggers is doing the fucking werewolf film with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Lily Rose Depp. You bet your fucking ass. Robert Eggers, if you need me on that carpet, you let me know. I'm coming in werewolf cosplay. I'm coming in werewolf cosplay and I'm doing full bush. I'm doing full bush all over the body werewolf cosplay for the Robert Eggers premiere. And for the Odyssey Christopher Nolan premiere, I'm coming dressed as Odysseus. I'm coming shirtless in a toga, full beard, and I'm doing my thing. Barefoot on the carpet, nipples out. Let me know, Christopher Nolan. I know you watch. I know you watch this. Okay? And you know what? I didn't go to the Oppenheimer premiere, and that's probably for the best, because Oppenheimer was a very important movie to me. That is the recipe for a Brittany Broski hyperfixation. That type of fucking movie, that nerd shit, I love. I love. When this, the movie theater over here by my house, they're already selling tickets to the Odyssey. I don't even know if they've released a premiere date. It's sometime next year, like early or mid to late next year. Shit's already sold out. Fuck you, bitches. You know I wanted to go. You know I wanted to see an IMAX. Y'all are haters. You hate me. There are very few, actual, that's a lie. I was going to say there's very few things that I actually geek out about. That's a complete lie. That is a total and complete butt-faced lie. Maybe the phrase is bold-faced lie. And I've been saying butt-faced. Butt-faced lie. Bare-faced lie. Bald-faced lie. What the fuck? The phrase butt-faced lie is a misspelling of bald-faced lie or bold-faced lie. These terms describe a blatant, shameless, and unapologetic lie that's often told without any attempt to conceal the deception. Okay, bald-faced? Me. Bald-faced? Trixie. Me when I'm a bald-faced hoe. Anyway, I think that the werewolf... Is that what it's being called? Werewolf Curse of the... Oh, dude, I'm not going to be normal when that shit comes out. I am not going to be normal. Arguably, I don't know if I'm ever normal, but you're going to hear about that movie. On this podcast, you're going to hear about that shit. What the actual fuck have I been talking about for 54 minutes? I could not tell you. I don't know what I've been talking about. Wow. Okay, sure. Let's get into my songs of the week. Oh my God. Hold on. I have to tell you guys about my new favorite fragrance. I'm not a floral girl. Y'all know that about me. There are a few exceptions I have. Dosun by Diptyque is my number one exception. I love that fucking fragrance. Dosun by Diptyque. Number two, I love Florgasm by Heretic Parfum, which is kind of a similar DNA to Dosun. Bitch. Heretic just released these florals. I forget what they're called. They're like midnight something. In this little sample set is a fragrance called Pistol Whip. Hilarious, right? Pistol, like, because it's in a flower. But Pistol Whip, like hitting someone with the butt of a gun. Ultimately, that's funny and it's a play on words. Pistol Whip is a floral, but it's creamy. I can't even describe it to you. I can read it to you. Pistol Whip Heretic notes. And guys, the diarrhea is churning. I hate to tell you. Here are the notes for Pistol Whip. I am addicted to this fragrance. Also, I've started picking perfume for the season. I've started picking perfume that, like, okay, if you love Kilian fragrances you can't always wear year round. Like Angel Share, that's a very tobacco, cinnamon, warm winter. If you're wearing a Gourmand in the summer, oh, that makes me nauseous to even think about. Like that Gourmand mixed with just body sweat and I can't do it. So a fragrance like a floral or a clean fragrance or like an androgynous, I think that's the best for hot months. Pistol Whip, here are the notes. Oh, three of my favorite things. Top notes. Pink pepper, bergamot, coriander. The heart is tuberose, tiare, gardenia, lang lang, Moroccan rose. And I don't like rose. Okay, so if you're going to do rose and make me like it, it's got to be very subtle like that. And then the base, of course, is vetiver, black tea absolute, and ilamai. Girl, I'm addicted to I don't know what it is that makes it creamy. but it's really, really good. Lush petals open while notes of rain and wet stone add dimension to this hypnotic masterpiece. Gag. Yeah, that's been my obsession lately. Also, they have one called Midnight Toker. That's another winter fragrance. Y'all. Wow. If you're into like tobacco, vanilla, any of those notes in that realm, but like it's got smoke in it. It smells like smoke. I can't even tell you. And it's Heretic does it very well where it's a balance of every single one of them is androgynous. Every single one. It's amazing how they do it. And Midnight Toker is one that's like, yeah, anyone can wear this. It's really beautiful. Here are my songs of the week. We're going to do Moon Over Montana by Jimmy Wakely. I'm on my scary shit. Damn, I'm on my scary shit. Next is Come and Go by Yeat. I love Yeat. Y'all know I love Yeat. And then Fuck With You by Don Toliver. I love Don Toliver. I love Don Toliver. If I ever saw Don Toliver live, I'd freak the fuck out. All right, y'all. Next week, we're going to discuss the difference between Art Nouveau and Art Deco. And I'll also keep you updated on my chess journey. If you want merch, go to broski.shop. And be on the lookout for something later this year. If you want to stream my music, just do it. All right, there's only 2 or 3 songs out. It's not, I don't care, you know. Go listen if you want. And then go watch The Corpse Bride. It's great. It holds up. Victor, where are you? All right, team, bye.